Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is American English with this guy. I'm this guy, my name's Brent. I've been an English teacher in the United States for about 20 years. And the goal of this channel is to help you improve your English. And the goal of this video is to help you understand how to use the word curve in English. And this idea for a video originally came from a question from Yasen, and he had a couple great questions about phrases we use with curve. And one thing I want to show you, it's maybe, I don't know, I don't think it's gonna rain but it is getting to be fall around here. You can see the leaves are kind of changing. But I want to show you a trail not far from my house and it's going to be really beautiful in a couple weeks. We can visit it in a couple weeks, but for right now let's talk a little bit about curve. Let's talk about what a curve is. So think of a straight line, and then you would have a bend in that curve. Sometimes when you're going down the road, you might see a sign that says dangerous curves ahead. That means you need to slow down because the road is no longer straight. I actually just walked from my house around a curve and now right to the trail. It's going to be a pretty straight road. But sometimes you will hear life threw me a curveball. So maybe we should talk a little bit about the sport of baseball. I know in some parts of the world it isn't that popular, but basically you got this person who pitches the ball. That's one way to say throw. Call that person a pitcher. And a lot of times the ball will go straight down the plate. That's where the hitter stands to receive the ball. And sometimes the ball could have a little curve to it. Looks like it's going to be way out of the strike zone, which is a great place to hit a ball. The pitch may go up a little bit and then come back down, confusing the hitter. That can be called a curveball. And if life ever throws you a curveball, that means you were surprised by something. You didn't realize that that was going to happen. Let's think about 2020, the year I'm filming this video. Well, life has probably thrown a lot of curveballs at you. For instance, that thing I don't want to say, how can I say it? The illness? Maybe I'll write it right up here just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. But that's a curveball. That was a surprise. Nobody expected that to happen on January 1st, that we would be in this place on September 2020 while I'm filming this. So life really threw us a curveball. We're actually almost at the trail, or we could say the trailhead. That's the start of a trail. We call it the trailhead. So we're almost at the trailhead. Another way, and I won't explain this too much, you can look this up if you want more detail. Sometimes women can be called curvy if they are bigger in certain parts and smaller in the middle. We might call those women curvy. So here's the entrance to the trail. It's just like, I love this place. I used to walk this way to pick my kids up from school. We have like a nice little brook flowing down in the middle of the trail. I'll show you that in a minute. And this is actually really close to my house. I will film another video here, another English lesson in a couple weeks, and then we can see how much it has changed because the leaves will have turned color in a couple weeks. Another question Yasen had was something about flattening the curve. So think about that illness that I really can't say. You will often hear that term talked about when we're talking about the amount of cases that are happening in a certain area. So right at the beginning of the pandemic, I don't think I'll get in trouble if I say that, cases, if you're thinking about a graph, I can probably put a picture up of a graph. If the cases start rising and then falling, you could call that a curve. And if scientists or politicians are talking about flattening the curve, that means trying to make it so not as many people get sick from the pandemic. Instead of having a graph that goes up like this with a steep curve, you'll try to flatten the curve and make it so there aren't as many cases. And the last one is actually like two parts. Sometimes you will hear behind the curve, and other times you'll hear ahead of the curve. And in that case, it basically means the middle of something. Let's say you're taking an English class and your grades are not that great. We might say you're behind the curve. You're not in the middle of all the grades. But if your grades were really good, then you're ahead of the curve. Then that's a good thing. If we're talking about cases of the pandemic thing, we might say right now the United States is behind the curve, because that's a bad thing. And we have a lot more cases than other countries. Say like Germany. I was talking with somebody in Germany today, and they were talking about how low their cases are. I think most people would agree Germany is a country that's done pretty well with the virus. They're ahead of the curve. Unfortunately, the US, when it comes to cases, we're behind the curve. All right, I hope this English lesson dealing with curves helped you out a little bit. Maybe you can practice some shadowing with some of the sentences I said. A lot of S's in those last couple sentences. How about this tricky sentence? The US is behind the curve when it comes to cases. Germany is ahead of the curve when it comes to cases. A lot of tricky sounds in there for you. If you are getting anything from this lesson and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Maybe throw a like, leave a comment, all that good stuff that will help other people find the channel. If you're looking for more English, I'll leave a couple playlists up there for you. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.